Hello, welcome to Win Some Loosemore. My name is Dieter Loosemore and you join me for a design discussion series of videos where I talk about various aspects within the design and production of board games themselves as products. Now I've had the opportunity recently, thankfully after a while, to do a bit of in-person gaming, which has been much needed, which has meant I've been able to try out some of the newer games that I've bought that have just kind of sat on the shelf for a bit without being played, which maybe I shouldn't have bought them in a pandemic, but here we go, I did. Finally been able to play some of them, and it really flared up for me, and I use that intentionally, something that makes me mad, really angry when it's wrong. And I'm talking about the rulebook. I mentioned this before, that I would talk about this another time. Today is the day to talk about one of the elements of a rulebook, and this came after playing the new updated version of a game called Kemet. This is Kemet Blood and Sand. Amazing production, the physical product is wonderful. And we sat down to play this, and so I started reading the rule book. I'd watched videos on it, so I thought I've got a rough idea. Okay, not terrible graphic design. Okay, it's a bit bullet pointy, but that's all right. This should be okay. I got to the end of reading it and went, cool, I think I understand, let's go. 2 turns in, we had a question, as you do when you first play a game, so I went to the rulebook. Could not find the answer. Maybe I'm just, let me look again. Nothing on it at all. Okay, well, probably this. Okay, keep playing. Another question, not there. Another question, not there. Another question, not there. And just these clarifications and specificity is just really lacking. It's a nice short rule book. It's only about 10 pages, which for a game of this size and weight is impressive. So it got me thinking, why was it making me so angry? Why would I expect a game that on the secondhand market right now is about £100 to have a rulebook that I can't learn the game from? We also played Unsettled from Orange Nebula, the recent Kickstarter, and this is a thick old rulebook. This, what does it say? It is 47 pages long. And similarly, sat down, followed the setup, read through the basic rules, and could play the game. It didn't matter that this was a dense, thick old rulebook. It's a complex game. It necessitated this level of detail, and they really clarified and gave examples. And there was one question that we just made a ruling on. And then there's my favorite bit in here. Let's see how quickly I can find it. If there's a question as to whether an explorer can pull off the weird creative use of effects they're trying to achieve, and no one knows for certain that they cannot, then they can. Now, for some people, that's loosey-goosey, really unhelpful. For us, learning a game, when it tells you, you know what, don't worry about it, don't get bogged down reading the rules, just make an educated guess. If it benefits you, great. You'll learn it correctly next time when you go through it again. And then the second half of this book nearly is just Q&A. Here's some things that might come up. Here's how we'd respond to that. Oh my goodness, suddenly really good. And always Orange Nebula, great graphic design and whatnot. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ease of understanding. And I'm going to compare Kemet to Tapestry, which again really played off the fact that this is its rulebook, that it's just a folded sheet. And yes, people went, oh, it doesn't necessarily have all the ins and outs, and I agree, but it's a much more intuitive game. It's a much more like Unsettled. These two things clash. Which one do we do? Let's just agree together, as opposed to here's an actual rule that I need to know whether I can do all this stuff. It's not there. So rant relatively done. What am I looking for in a rulebook? A few things. I want it to start by telling me what's in the box. That may seem silly, but I want a picture and a name so that when it then tells me that this thing by name does this, I should know what they're talking about. I don't mean to rag on Kemet. It's a great game. It's a great product. But there's a thing called a veteran token. At no point does it show you the picture of the scarab thing and go, this is a veteran token. Not once. It shows you all of the tokens and says, in this pile are these, and these, but they don't tell you which one's which. It's relatively clear, but it's inferred. It's not told. I don't want to be treated like an idiot, but I want to be shown things because I'm going through it quickly. I don't want to have to study, figure out, make notes about what everything means so that when it says you can spend veteran tokens to do this, this, and this, I should immediately know what that means. So I want it to show me what's in the game, and ideally pictorially as well as words. Tapestry, again, I'll show you the example, shows you the full game setup. That's the first thing you see. And then it's numbered and tells you about all the setup. That would be the next thing I would do. Or I would expect to see, here's what everything is, here's how it goes. Some games combine that and they do that just fine. I'm not saying show me all the pictures and then show me all the pictures again, but put together, it's fine if you put that into one thing. But I want to know what everything is. I want to know how to set up the game, and visually, please. I then want to know how to play the game. Run me through how everything works. If it takes you 30 pages, then it takes you 30 pages because it's a complex game. Don't give me 2 pages of rules and I've only got a third of the rules and I don't know the depth of how all these things fit together. Show me what it is, show me how it puts together, show me how it works, tell me how to win. That's it. That's so simple, right? Surely that's it. If then there are, you know that it's your game is complex and deep and interesting, give me clarifications. Give me the overarching thing that says these are the basic rules. If a card power ever goes against this, follow the card power. Lots of games say that because that's how it works. These are supposed to be game-breaking powers, but they make that clear. Or in this situation, you can do this. Give me some examples in when you're telling me how the game works. Don't just go, here's how it works. Here's how it works. For example, in this situation, this player's doing this, and then because of this happening, this happens. Okay, fine. Now I've been able to make more concrete this abstract concept. Now I can internalize it better, explain it to other people, or just understand it myself. If the examples aren't there, if the pictures aren't there, I don't think I'm a dummy. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but why would you not want me to play your game as quickly as possible? That is my big question for Rulebooks. Why would you not want me to play? And this is not about getting through it as quick as possible. This is not about starting the game as quickly as possible. Yes, there's that element. If you can condense it down quickly and clearly, fine, do that by all means. But it's not about getting them out the way and then me going, actually, I don't know what I'm doing. I want a sufficient rules explanation so that I can play. If, on top of that, you as a designer or a creative publisher, developer, whatever you are, want to add flavor text and go, this is the world in which this is set, here's what you're fighting over, here's what you're going for, this is what you're going to be exploring and discovering. Great, that immerses me, that makes me want to play your game even more, but I wouldn't even hold that as a necessity. Show me what everything is, show me how to set it up, tell me how to play, ideally with examples and clarifications, tell me how to win, tell me how to score, and maybe how to put it away. Big complex games, some of them do this on the box, that's fine, doesn't have to be in the rulebook, but a hint, maybe, if you don't have one of those inserts that everything's really intuitive and clear. But I've talked about inserts before, so do check out that video as well. What are your thoughts on rulebooks? Do they make you as angry as I was? And yes, I have employed elements of hyperbole in this. Kemet's good. It is good. All the rules are in here, mostly. But I don't want to have to go look up stuff when I'm trying to learn a game. I want you to want me to play your game. So that's my initial rant. We'll talk about graphic design and pictures and things like that another time, how much artwork you put in. But for now, rulebooks. Aren't they fun? Do you like reading them? Do you not? What examples of great rulebooks do you have? Other examples of bad rulebooks maybe? Light games that explain really well or go too far and go into too much detail or don't give you any of the rules because they think it's really obvious, or heavy games that go This will be enough. Or give you a 100-page book and go read all of this. Oath, I'll quickly jump in another example, has 2 rule books. It goes, how do you want to learn this? Do you just want to read all the rules, or do you want to be walked through your first game? Or do one then the other? Great. Good, big complex game. Here's 2 ways of learning it. Both work, both have everything you need. Ideally, do the playthrough one, and then if you have any references, use this. Oh, so good. So good. Thank you very much for watching. If this was even remotely entertaining or interesting for you, do consider subscribing to the channel if you don't already, and hit the bell icon so you stay updated when I put out new things. And do find me on social media. It'd be great to be in contact with more of you. Until next time, I've been Dieter for Win Some, Loosemore. Thank you. I'll see you again. Bye.